Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. It is a very cold Wednesday morning, I must say, because it is still raining in some of the 5 divisions that make up Kampala. I don't know where you are and you're watching from and what the weather is like there, but whatever it is, rainfall should not be an excuse, because we know we have 2 rainy seasons and you should be prepared to ensure that you deliver the service you're supposed to deliver despite the rainfall. However, we also stand in solidarity with our brothers, those of whom rain is a curse and not a blessing. Our brothers in Kawempe, Waise, Mayuni, and all those places where it rains and becomes a very big problem. We pray for you and we hope that we shall keep on improving as a country, that no matter where someone is, but also a word of caution that there are some places that are not very good to be habitable by people. And our brothers and sisters, let's not venture into these wetlands. One friend was telling me, if you're to look for a house to sleep, this is the right time. If you're looking for a house to rent, because then now you know what will happen. When the dry season is there, you never know what happens. So if you're moving, you want to shift in those places, this is the time to look for where to go next, because water is looking for its original path. I'm Chirabo Robert Nyonyitono, and this morning I have 2 guests with me with whom we are going to be discussing the celebrations of 100 years of the Uganda Society and the 14th edition of the Science, Technology and Innovation Conference. Now, joining me on set, I have Professor Charles Kakuhikire Twesije, and he is a PhD holder, but also he is the president of the Uganda Society. You're most welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
And then at the extreme end, I have Miss Ellen Dagire, a PhD fellow in the Department of Biological Science at Chambogo University. You're most welcome, Madam Helen.
Thank you.
And with such quality of guests, now when you talk about the society and then the Science and Technology and Innovation Conference, now you know we are going to be discussing science, innovation, and I have the brains worth to discuss that. I'm so delighted to have you too, and of course I know my viewers are eager to hear from what you have. I'll begin with Professor. When we talk about the Uganda Society, first thing one would think, society for what? You know, so there's always an addition to society. But this is entirely the Uganda Society. So what is this all about?
Yeah, thank you very much. The Uganda Society, which started in 1923, its original name was the Uganda Literary and Scientific Society. And in 1933, members felt that name was very complicated, and they wanted to simplify it. and so that it can attract as many people as possible. So in 1933, it changed its name to the Uganda Society. And its starting place was Entebbe, and in 1933, it moved to Kampala, where there were more people that would be members of the Uganda Society. Yeah.
Now, moving to Madam Helen, when you talk about, he's told us what the society is all about, but then we have the addition of science, technology, and innovation. So it is a joint celebration. So what is this then about?
We are celebrating 100 years of the society. At the same time, we're also having a conference which is hosted by the Uganda Journal, also part of the Uganda Society. So in the conference...
Now you're complicating things again. Now the Uganda Journal. Because I want my audience to flow with us very well, because we're understanding what we're discussing.
We have the Uganda Society, and within the Uganda Society, there is a Uganda Journal. And the Uganda Journal keeps taking publications and taking publications from different researchers. And these publications, they're usually presented in a conference, which conferences come every 2 years. So this time around, on the 1st and 2nd November, we have a conference by the Uganda Journal, and we are inviting people from far and wide and of different disciplines to come and be part of the conference in the Uganda Journal.
Now getting you.
So what does the society do, Doctor?
The society organizes public lectures every last Thursday of every month and publishes a journal, which is known as the Uganda Journal. The first issue of the Uganda Journal was published in 1934. So next year it will be making 90 years. And it is a multidisciplinary journal that publishes both scientific and literary, historical, a mix of the two. And from 1933 up to 1983, for 50 years, it inspired the establishment of other journals throughout Africa.
Now, really so many years back that we are discussing here since it was established. But who is a member? Who qualifies? What is your membership like? Miss Helen.
The Uganda Society calls for a variety of members, students, scholars, companies, and even the entire public. It's not discriminative. Unfortunately, it's multidisciplinary. There are a little fees paid, and there are little fees paid, and once one pays, qualifies to be a member. One can even pay to be a life member. We have the different rates. Professor can open up for us and give the detail.
Yeah. Because we want to know, something has been there for some good time, and when we hear science, really there is so much interest into that.
Yeah, this is a membership society. There are rates for secondary schools, there are rates for undergraduates, there are rates for postgraduate, and there are rates for adults. The current rate for adults like you and me is 50,000 per year. Then for the graduate students is 30,000 per year. The undergraduates is only 10. If somebody is in a secondary school and wants to join, he will only pay 5,000. If you want life membership, you pay 1 million. I became a life member in 2000 and I paid 100,000. So that is as far as membership is concerned. And to be a member, you don't have to be a Ugandan. We have people from Europe, from Asia, who are members of the Uganda Society. Remember, in 1923, this society was started by Europeans. That was the colonial time. You did not have many Ugandans educated to be in an academic society like that one. And why this society was started by the people who were in the colonial time, because they were doing research in our waters, in our forests, and our minerals. So they wanted the forum where they would meet and share the findings. Of course, they had challenges from the start. For example, during the World War, it almost closed. Then in the days of Idi Amin, it also had challenges. But each time, there was always somebody to take care of the society. So there are three things that we need to know here. The society has a journal, which my colleagues has talked about. We also have a library at the Uganda Museum. And you would want to know, why is the society in the museum? We started from Entebbe, moved to Kampala, moved to the National Center, and then in 1960, there was a Ford Foundation that required the extension of the Uganda Museum. But the funds for Ford Foundation were raised by members of the Uganda Society. So in 1963, the Uganda Society moved into the Uganda Museum after that extension of the education wing. So since 1964, the Uganda Museum and the Uganda Society have shared a home. Yeah.
Now, this is a long period, and when we talk about celebrating a century, celebrating 100 years, there must be achievements. I've used the word there must be. We don't know, Madam Helen, what is it that the society can stand proud of and say, this is what we have achieved in the last 100 years?
In the last 100 years, the Uganda Society is proud to have been part of the educators of several scholars and dissemination of knowledge. Because when you talk of a journal, that means publication and knowledge dissemination. And part of knowledge sharing, part of advancement, and part of keeping knowledge which you would never find anywhere else. When you go to the Uganda Museum, there is knowledge, literature, which would have been lost otherwise, particularly during the civil unrests, during the Idi Amin War, during the wars. The Uganda Museum is proud to have such information kept, which you may not find anywhere. Besides bringing up younger scholars, I'm one of the learners who is learning from the consortium of a lot of professors in the society. So the benefits are immense.
Maybe the president, anything you want to supplement on achievements?
Yes.
Even it could be under your term.
Okay, yeah. As you have been informed, the society contributed to the expansion of the Uganda Museum, putting there a full wing, where I have an office as president of the Uganda Society, and we have a library that has very rare books. Remember, these old members who are doing research and published books like Snakes of Uganda, Butterflies of Uganda, Albert Cook Memories. So they are books that you cannot find anywhere in the world. And most of our speakers come from abroad because they know there is a lot that we have in the Uganda Society. And then the Uganda Society contributed to the establishment of this science technology series. When I was doing my PhD at the University of Copenhagen, I attended a number of international conferences. When I returned in 2002, that's when we started these science technology innovations. And this is the 14th. And we have published papers from these conferences. We have mentored the young people who are now have grown and become professors. And we are particularly excited at this time. You know, for all those years in the past, we had one university, Makerere University, which had just started in 1922, 1 year before the society. But now we have over 50 universities, meaning we have master's and PhD students who must publish their work. And the mentality here is people believe you can only publish a journal in Europe, in Asia, which is very wrong. Because Uganda is losing money publishing in foreign journals, while we can have reputable editorial boards here. And remember, Uganda Journal led to establishment of other journals in Africa. And it is now time to make sure that science findings in Uganda are published in Uganda and easily accessible to the Ugandans. To me, that's a very big contribution the society has made.
What have been the outstanding challenges in this journey of 100 years, Madam Helen?
Civil unrests have been a very big challenge. At one moment, when you look at the history, somebody will tell you everything was nearly being destroyed, but somebody stood in and bailed out, like some of that old literature, talking about this history of Albert Cook. Somebody had to pave a way, a hero of the society. So civil unrest have been a very big challenge. However, also funding. That is why we still call for donations, funding, sponsors. Funding is a big challenge, but the biggest challenge was the civil unrest within the country.
Well, Professor, any outstanding challenges that you can say in now modern day, away from the civil unrest that we've had a number of years now of political stability?
Good. Yeah, thank you very much. After the difficult challenges of the Second World War, and then the instability that was brought in during the era of Idi Amin, the society almost closed in 1983 because of that. And we thank the professors from Makerere University who managed to resurrect it in 1994. Now, when the society is resurrected, and then there comes the problem of private studying at the universities, which now occupied most of the academicians. They would teach in the morning, and evening they are also teaching. And remember, we would have a public lecture every Thursday, which would start at 5:30. That became a challenge. And because of the economic situations, they had to look for money for educating their children and looking up there. And then the jam issue. If you are living in Mukono and you have to come and attend a public lecture at the Uganda Museum, it is not easy. And of course, funding, as she has already talked about. We have to publish this journal, and it is costly. And remember, Africans have a poor reading culture. So we are struggling very hard to change the mentality of these people, students, lecturers, professors, so that they spend time to share their knowledge for posterity.
Well, we are still looking at science and technology, celebrations of 100 years of the Uganda Society and the 14th edition of the Science, Technology and Innovation Conference. I have two guests with me, and these are what I would say, people that are members of the society, but also have keenly been following through, plus having vast history of the society that was established in 1923, and they'll be marking their 100 years of existence. Now, we've looked at the challenges, we've looked at the achievements of this society, but in modern day age, we all know we have a challenge of reading. Briefly, where is the relevancy? More so now I want to go to that .com era. People who can just go on Google, people who have information to them. How relevant is this society to the current generation, Professor?
Thank you. When I finished my master's, I was not taught how to publish papers at Makerere University. It is actually the Uganda Society which taught me how to publish my master's research. So our major obligation as a society is to mentor in these students how to publish high quality work that can be published either in the Uganda Journal or in other journals. That's the major thing we do. And I've told you we organize public lectures every last Thursday. So here we give an opportunity to these .com people to learn how to present scientific information, how to present it, package it, and publish it either in a book or in a journal. So we are very relevant even in .com. You can't just simply go to the internet and pick what you see there. We train you. How do you organize your work so that you create something out of it which belongs to you, not just copy and paste. And that's the challenge we are getting with these modern times, where the students will just go pick something on the internet and claim it is theirs. So we teach them how to make use of the available information as honest scientists.
I love the word honest scientists. Now also, let's take a look at how this society has evolved through the 100 years, Madam Helen.
Yes. The society, like Professor said, it began as the Uganda Literary Society. Then it appeared so complicated. Now that we already do not read, if you still have a very complicated name, that would make it harder. So it became simply the Uganda Journal, 1933. And then it's been evolving, attracting different researchers and writers from all over the world, and hosting different conferences, which we've hosted so many every 2 years, up to date, where this year we are hosting in Chambogo University. So we've had a series of journals and publications, and of course scholars being mentored.
I love the word of mentoring scholars. Now, Professor, we are having the celebrations. Let's concentrate now on what this is going to be like.
Well, thank you. The celebration will include an opening ceremony where we shall let the people know what the society has gone through the 100 years. And then we have a scientific program where different presenters coming from different universities, where people from Makerere University, Chambogo University, Nigeria, Uganda, and this conference will be unique. It will be both physical and online. So people will be presenting from Europe, from Asia, from the rest of Africa, and you will be seeing them in Chambogo. So that will take 2 days. We shall already, after the opening ceremony, we shall have what we call plenary, where the keynote speakers, experts in different areas in biodiversity conservation, biotechnology, pandemics. One of the very interesting topic is on guarding pandemics in Africa. So we have about 6 guest speakers. These are experienced professors that will be providing information, sharing it with their fellow professors, graduates, and other students. And then we have parallel sessions where we shall have other speakers also presenting, and depending on which the participant is interested in. Because we have over 40 papers and we cannot cover them in 2 days unless we put these parallel sessions. You'll have people in a paper where there is agricultural biotechnology, then others will be in a paper where there is pollution, then it will be another in a parallel session which is talking about biotechnology. That is how it will be organized. Yeah.
And how is the attendance like, Helen? Is it by invitation? Is it public? Where do we come? Or is it a one-day event? Details of that, Madam Helen.
We are inviting everybody. Everybody, the public, students, teachers, university professors, university doctors. Everybody is welcome because it's multidisciplinary. We even have, Professor hasn't mentioned the issue of mental health. We even have papers about mental health. So it's really open. There is a little payment which shall be done, because that comes with costs, and definitely costs, overheads and meals. So that there will be some little payment to be done, and everybody is welcome. It's not discriminative. And I believe everybody and anybody who will attend will at least learn something. At least from the diversity of disciplines present.
So where is this going to be? Because we've talked about so much, but where is the venue?
It is in Chambogo University.
A one-day thing?
2 days, on the 1st and 2nd of November, in one of our teaching facilities, the CTF, Central Teaching Facility, 105. Because he talked of several, maybe where we shall have panels, parallel sessions, we have several other teaching facilities. So during that time, you'll have sessions in different facilities. Otherwise, with the plenary, we shall be in the CTF 105, Central Teaching Facility 105.
Well, very interesting, and of course for anybody, this is something you should be attending, because the various speakers that are going to be sharing what they have been able to publish in the various journals, and of course these very interesting topics. I've been so much interested when you talk about mental health as an issue, because really there's so much that happens and you wonder where are we heading to. So maybe when people get to have more broad knowledge in that area and look at sample that have done maybe research. Remember one time there was a research that was published showing how many Ugandans have mental illness, and it was shocking to very many people. But if it's a well-detailed research, then that is something that will be of very much interest. Now, Professor, time seems to be flying, but that will not deny me to ask. You've talked about people publishing in their journal their research. Now, most of the people do not take what is Ugandan serious. If you told someone that so-and-so has done a research, it was even published in this journal, one would wish for something really, and many scientists would feel they are broken even if their work is published in a foreign journal. Now, coming back home, how have Ugandans embraced this? How you, the learned people, the professors, how have you embraced, welcomed, and believe in what is ours?
Thank you very much. But before I go to the journal, I want to continue what he said about the mental health. I'm part of a project that was written by Imperial College of London, and just 2 days ago we have a dialogue online, and we were looking at the impact of climate change and mental health. And I want to give examples here. For example, if the temperature is too high for humans, I was recently in Rome and it was 46 degrees Celsius. That affects the health of the people. And if all of a sudden there is a flood and people have to move away out of their homes, that will also affect their mental health. So I want to stop that at that. Now, coming back to the Uganda Journal, professors from Makerere from all over the world have published in this journal. I can give examples. The current academic register of Makerere University has his paper in there. Professor Kaguditi, the people who taught us botany, have their papers there. Professor Huntington Oliga, former dean of the Faculty of Science at Makerere University, has published that work. I also have published there. Professors from Europe, from the United States, have published that. So this is a mentality that we want to change. Some of these universities just focus on impact journals. But those impact journals have become high because they have put in place editorial boards, review boards, and Uganda has these.
Sure.
Yes, we do. Every week, I almost receive a request to review a paper. Every month, I'm examining a PhD thesis. So Ugandans have people to know that. But it is this mentality that we want to change. In my department, I have 12 PhD students. That's why she's a PhD fellow. We have 58 master's students in our department. Those doing public health, those being Master of Science in Conservation, Natural Resources. We did not have these programs before. Now these programs that are there, and we are there, there is no reason why we should still sending our money to publish in foreign journals. That is an initiative we have started and must succeed. And by the way, we are not going
to look at credibility,
no,
authenticity.
How did I become a professor? I had to publish in international journals.
Yeah, you did your PhD. What did you say? At the University of
was part of Makerere and then University of Copenhagen, which started in 1449. Yeah, so, and there are so many people who are now in Uganda. They only have to have a mindset. Because if I am reviewing journals, I mean papers that are published in those international journals, why can't I put in place an editorial review board and editors that can publish? Actually, we want to move away from only one journal. Now that we have several themes in this conference, we have those on agricultural technology, we have medical, our strategic plan for the next 5 years, we want to put in place 2 other journals at the international level. And I can promise you that.
I love the confidence, the faith, the hope, and I pray that we live to see this happen. Well, I must let you people go, but if I do that, Madam Ellen, let me just have your final remark.
Yeah, we are very grateful for having been hosted here. I call upon the entire public, please come one, come all. Come and be with us with the conference, come and join the society. It's wonderful. And then we call for any funders, sponsors, please come and give us support such that our society can flourish. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Ellen Ndagire, PhD Fellow in the Department of Biological Science at Kyambogo University. Professor, as we move out.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to the public. As we celebrate 100 years, we call upon members of the community from different universities to come and celebrate with us. And as I've mentioned, we need support, and I cannot go without recognizing our sponsor, Trinity Energy, that has enabled us to do a number of these things. We have been able to come here because of the sponsorship by Trinity Energy, which is a company that is operating in Uganda and is very much interested in supporting science. And we call upon other exhibitors, supporters, so that we can celebrate 100 years and move ahead into the future.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Professor Charles Kakuhikire Twesige, who is from Kyambogo University and, of course, the president of the Uganda Society. Let's embrace science. It is the way to go, and technology, and let's also support such efforts to ensure that more so we advance at the speed we should be doing this, with encouraging our very own. I love the confidence of Professor that, well, it's our time, we can do it. See you in the next hour. Ruben will be next with sports. Good morning.
Junko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange. Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative